get an email on our handbag?
Yes, I did, yeah, I printed it off. I didn't see your name on there, so you aren't doing it correct.
Oh, it's on there.
I didn't see it. I just want to make sure I'm
You
like.
can see some of the individuals from Rockwall that are on there. Huh?
Some of them, Airwood.
I called him. I called him. He said, I'm gonna have my wife get it for us.
So
I'm like, no.
I've got to figure something out.
We are doing a charity event,
Yes, exactly.
September 13th. Jim and I are doing a charity event for Child Advocacy Center. We have to model women's handbags and walk down a catwalk
Yes.
and strut.
No.
It's a sold-out event with 300.
300 plus. I have no clue what's going to go on.
I told him I draw the line with shaving my legs. I'm not shaving my legs.
I don't have enough time to complete that task, so it's not enough.
We get done. All right. Everybody look at you. Everybody good? Okay. The time is now 8:26. We'll reconvene the regular meeting. Moving on to number 11, executive session item. There was no action taken at this time. All right, moving on to number 12, Amazon Web Services. Councilmember Balcom will present information regarding Amazon Web Services, including web hosting, audio cloud storage, email, server data, network and maintenance, or other potential services and solutions available to the city. Councilwoman Balcom, floor is yours. Is he not available?
No, he's not. He moved it to the next meeting.
Okay, then we'll show this one table move to the next meeting. Moving on to item number 13. iCompass Agenda Management Records, Audio, Video, and Related Software. Discussion and action regarding a proposal for agenda management, records management, audio, visual, and related software. Ms. Lisa, floor is yours.
I've been researching how to be more efficient and transparent, and this was just one of my finds. We currently use iCompass for our agenda, but it's a free version. And so what you see your agenda packet there,
So that's what
it's
we're
linked,
currently-
that's what you have, but you have the free version. It's got some quirks and it's kind of dated. I don't think they've done any updates. Sometimes my agenda looks one way, and then when you look at it with your viewpoint, I notice it looks a different way. So sometimes it's a little off. It makes my typing look kind of weird, but for whatever reason. This is the professional version here. It's kind of costly. I don't know if you're ready to spend the money on it or not, but I wanted to bring it up now in case you wanted to set money aside for it. I'm not 100% ready for you to adopt this particular proposal because I've got to make sure that the software would be compatible with everything that we already have as far as technology. And I've got a couple of questions about keeping our records in the cloud that I just don't feel 100% about yet, but I'd like to know more. But this would allow for, it would make it a lot easier to put the entire agenda packet online, and that way the public could see it. It would also, they have a video and an audio manager. If you look on page 14, if you wanted to screen for another $3,400, it's got the live audio video streaming. And there it would be segmented. So if you just wanted to hear number 5 on the agenda, you just wanted to hear that portion of it, you could click and it would take you right to it. So it kind of bookmarks it. So they would bring us an encoder, and then I think we would have to purchase our own camera, but it would audio stream or video stream, however you wanted to do it. You could just do audio if you wanted, and then tie that to the agenda. It also kind of does a template for minutes, so it gives you a head start on minutes. So there's an app that it has, and it allows you to vote with the app. The votes get recorded, and it makes minute taking a little bit easier. Kind of sets up a template where you just sort of have to fill it in. So just a thought here. We've kind of been getting a push for more transparency, and I can't argue that that would be a great idea. And just looking for a way to do it, and this looked like it would work well, but there's a cost. So just for the Meeting Manager Pro, which gets you the agenda software, the records manager software would allow me to scan documents into the system and track them and keep them all electronically, but also make them available to the public, at least whichever ones we wanted to make available. It would reduce time probably spent on information requests. We could have more information out there, so they wouldn't be quite as necessary. The digital voting is what you would do up here if you choose to do that. And then that would be $8,000. And then the add-on would be the audio video manager for another $3,400. So if you wanted to do all of it, it would be an investment of $11,400. The bad part is that it's an annual investment, so it's something you have to subscribe to. And, you know, costs may go up from year to year, but
So it'd be about 11.5 every year?
yes, sir.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're ready to take that leap or not, but we've been talking about audio solutions, video solutions, and how to be transparent. So I just brought it forward in case you wanted to set money aside, and maybe 2 or 3 more months we might have some other options, but thought maybe for budgeting purposes you might just want to set a little bit aside, and maybe we could decide down the road.
I have a question for you on it. When you mentioned the audio video, the audio visual portion of it where you could segment and all that, and maybe a question for both you and Ms. Balkan is it going to be compatible with the possible recordings, or will there be any issues when it comes to teleconferencing?
That's one of the questions I have.
Okay.
So when we kind of get a little bit more settled as far as video conferencing and other technology and making sure that nothing is incompatible with what Ms. Balkan wants to do as well, that would be a time to actually decide on a proposal.
Okay.
For the time being, I like what I see here. I think it's good stuff, and I think it's as we grow, putting things on the web and making the entire packet available is something that not just a few people are going to want, but it's going to be demanded more. So,
Questions for?
just giving some options.
Yeah, Lisa, on page 14, you list the $4,200 annual savings by buying multiple solutions.
Yes.
How was that?
These are all individually priced. So the meeting manager, pro, records manager, they're all sold individually. So I think if you go earlier into that packet, a few pages before this, they're individually priced. But if you buy the whole bundle here, you save a little bit. It says you save
I saw
$4,000.
it at 8,000, I didn't see it. It's just
Yeah, if you look on page 13, you'll see
The
that
2 pieces, right?
it talks about the 2 different ones.
The
about
2
the
separate pieces that are
Oh,
included in
that
8,000,
makes-
and that's where it is.
I'm sorry, can I borrow your glasses as well as mine?
It
Small.
does look small there.
Okay, that's a reason.
I know I saw it at some point in time, but there are some individual prices in there.
All right.
So you could just buy a portion of it if Ms. Balcom or had another idea as far as the streaming, and we found a solution that was less expensive and you wanted to drop that portion, you could. This is just a neat way to attach it to the agenda, so you don't have to listen to 5 hours of the meeting or try to find just the right spot. It kind of bookmarks just that, whatever item someone might want to listen to. So it's kind of a neat feature.
Okay, are they willing to come out and set up a demo?
Yes, the lady wanted to do it, her name is Michelle, and she wanted to do it today, but she was actually on vacation and she was going to try to do it remotely. And I said, I don't even know if remotely would work, and why don't you just wait till you get back from vacation? So I just provided you the packet for reading today and just for consideration of setting aside the money.
Do we know of any other cities in our area that's currently using it?
The city of Murphy uses them, and the city of Duncanville uses them.
Have you talked to either one of them?
I have not.
Pros or cons on how they like it?
I have not yet.
Are there any other packages that you've looked at?
From a different company?
Yeah.
There's one called Laserfish that's kind of the standard out there. They were the original company that kind of did agenda management and records management. They're kind of the gold standard, and a lot of these other companies have sort of done their own version of that. I do have a quote from them. I think it's also about $8,000, but it doesn't have the audio or video streaming option. It's just records management, agenda management. So it's similarly priced as far as what you have here for the meeting manager, pro, and records manager.
One of the benefits that I see to this being a subscription, if you don't like it, you're only into it for 1 year.
They are willing to come out too, and you can have, a lot of times these licenses are limited, but they say that they'll instruct anyone and have as many licenses as you need to use it. So if we add another person to the office, there's no additional fees or anything, it's just however many people need to have access to use it, it's the same price.
Hey, listen, my only question, I mean, this sounds fantastic and all that, but without having a true assessment of, comparison, like, it costs this much, but we'll reduce hours this much at this rate, approximately, over 50 weeks of the year, whatever it might be, so we can do a true cost savings or return, it talks about ROI and that type of thing. I mean, I can certainly see the time saving, and time is money. We are paying people to do this stuff, so I get that. But it's just kind of hard to say, without getting a little bit more specific on the hours you estimate for council meetings, that hopefully won't always be so long. That, give us a little bit better tool to assess this. That's all
I
that.
think in one of the emails I sent you this week too, I did put some links to some demos that you can pull up yourself. And it gives you, maybe a 5-minute demo on how the records work or how the audio video links work. So it might give you a little bit of an idea there. But I'll try to get you some comparisons. And I'll maybe call the other cities too and get a review.
Any questions? Go ahead, Ms. Paul.
Did they say they're going to come out next week on the 13th?
I haven't gotten back with her yet, but I'll see if she's available.
Yeah, see if she can, or person, if
Is
we can
Mike
do.
gonna be here now? So on your stuff to where they can
Oh, yeah, he wants to do a
demo?
remote, he wants to do a remote presentation. So,
It might, if we can have them both at the same time,
yeah, that'd be great.
discuss the intercompatibility. I mean, I don't mean to sound rude, but geek to geek, they can
That'd be
figure
good.
out.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, they're not gonna be able to do the, it's like there's a, the voting part on it, that's not happening.
Yeah.
The audio, as far as storage on it, they're gonna kill it.
Okay.
So, I mean, the price
Right.
is ridiculously low.
Okay.
But as far as like the other stuff, this stuff is already, it will go straight to the website. So you said the demo, they would do a demo next time, next council meeting?
I think we can get them here next time.
Okay, and then if we can, because since it is remote for this person to do the AWS, I was thinking of 7:30 to 8 o'clock, so would they have the understanding to hear?
Okay.
And then my guy will be remote.
Okay. All right, so as far as talking about the iCompass direction was to, I guess, talk to the other cities, kind of get their pros and cons, a little more information, then let's do a demo.
Yes.
Sounds good.
If she could be here next Monday, that would be optimal.
All
I
right.
think it's Tuesday.
No, we're actually
It's
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, we moved it to Monday.
And in addition to trying to quantify the benefit to us.
Yes, and what Jim had asked us, if you can break down what the cost savings is to do this, I guess, is that exactly how you put it, cost savings?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, just to put a cost basis along with the benefit of what this would be, what this brings.
All right. We're done with number 13, moving on to number 14, fiscal year 2018-2019 budget discussion and possible direction to staff regarding the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget. All right.
Mayor, for term leadership.
Yes. Scott, an overview?
Well, what we got from Ray, Lisa and I both agree is not very easily used. So I'm going to ask you guys what you want to do. Do you want to go through this, the rest of the expense items? We went through the revenue items last time.
Yes.
Do you want to go through the expense items? We're going to have to skip over the fire department because we don't have information for the safer it's gonna be a limited number of things, but, and another thing that Ray didn't do that Lisa and I, well, we had all talked about it. Even on the revenue, on his spreadsheet that he sent out, he used our estimated actual revenue. And we discussed last time that we didn't expect there to be as many housing starts, revenue of that type. So I would recommend that we go back and change those numbers on the revenues to the proposed budget from 2017-18, the original one we did before we amended it after we had the unexpected influx. It is not on any of the documents that you have. You can go out to the website and get it. So if you want to go through the revenue again, I can read off the numbers that we projected last year, grand totals versus what he's got here, or whatever the pleasure of the council.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, so remember the tower, the settlement stuff, did he ever get, did he indicate that he was gonna put it in this thing here? Because it's not the full amount, it would be like.
Are you talking about next year's budget or this year's budget?
This year, I mean, I'm sorry, whatever.
2018, 19?
2018, 19.
Okay, yes. It's on the spreadsheet. If you look under legal fees, if you look in May, you'll see that the number is a negative number rather than a positive. But his numbers for Mr. Pascal are not right. Again, he went off of real numbers this year, and that included all of the fees for the lawsuit. I went through Mr. Pascal's billings, and he averages about $7,100 a month in billings, normal billings, 7,100. So if you multiply that by 12 and add a 20% increase, I rounded that up to roughly $104,000. So if you back $50,000 out of that, we don't have a whole lot of legal expenses. But I don't think that $50,000 should come out of the legal expenses. I think it should come out of professional expenses. So to me, it needs to be an item on itself, by itself, on that category. And as we discussed last week, we have revenue from the building master fee schedule, where Lisa collects deposits basically for work that Mr. Coker or Mr. Dupree, or even in some cases, Mr. Pascal does for somebody wanting to do a development. And that's being tracked as revenue and then being backed out as expenses. And frankly, I think that should never hit our books. It should be on a separate account, so that the only thing that shows on our books is the information that what we receive as the city, not what we are later going to pay to the professional, and what the professional charges us for the work, because his spreadsheet shows nothing next year as expenses for Mr. Coker. And we know that Mr. Coker's going to go to P&Z meetings, he's going to address the council and those things. We're going to get billed for. I mean, that's not recouped from somebody else. So I don't think the way Ray has this is terribly accurate. So I would like to, I'll keep answering any questions that you've got if I can. But I don't like the numbers that are on here. I think I think they're right on.
Hold on just a second, Herman. He is gonna be here next Monday, right?
And we should have, tax rate worksheets available by next time. County probably will have rollback rates and things like that
Would he have them available with the packet?
next week.
Yeah, to where we could, the council could see them before they came into the meeting on Monday?
We will shoot for that.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's quite all right. That was actually some of my questions also. It looks to me like we can hash some of this over, but I think everything that Mayor Pro Tem has brought up is extremely valid.
Right.
And I don't like going over numbers that I think are not in the right position and maybe not properly projected.
Or
Since-
properly explained and-
Or properly explained, since we have him coming in next week.
I guess,
I don't see a reason why we need to.
okay, the one thing that we might be able to do tonight, and this is a big might, if anybody has a question on what something is in the category or how, or why it gets categorized that way, Lisa and I might be able to answer your question. But if everything is clear to you guys, if you don't have questions like that, again, I think we need to redo a spreadsheet. We need to do with what we projected last year. And,
Maybe you should go over that because they don't know what we did.
well, they've got the original budget from,
So, yeah.
well, okay, it's not part of that.
Okay. I'm
But,
sorry.
you can download it off the website. It's not a big deal. I just don't like going off of numbers that were extremely high this year. I don't see us duplicating it 2 years in a row. If we do, we can always amend the budget up, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And I hate thinking we can spend money that we're not going to end up with.
Absolutely agree with you. When I was standing out here as a citizen, that was one of the things I was concerned about, was the fact that we were projecting all this building permit income, and I knew it was going to slow down at some point. So I 100% agree with your assessment here.
All right, so is everybody in agreement? Let's discuss this with Ray present next week with the addition of
Let me ask
the
a
information we asked you for,
question.
Lisa. Yes, ma'am.
So on the expenses though, do you have any thoughts about going through any of these, like, some things that I know that were,
I mean, like the thing that we talked about, because I mean, it's just, I would rather just go ahead and just come up with the ideas and what we're gonna budget for, and then just talk about the rate then. Because
okay,
again,
so you want to leave that for raise
yeah,
discussions
yeah,
now?
we can just wait till then. So essentially what we're saying is that when Ray gets here next time, if there's things that you want to budget for, like, I know that two of you guys went to like some seminars, okay, well, that was based on our previous budget. So if you think that you're going to go on seminars in the future or something like that,
We
kind
need
of
to budget the money for it.
yeah, so
absolutely.
you want, yeah, exactly. So, so come prepared, next meeting to talk about some things, and even with, that new committee that you're talking about, going, if there's money that you want to budget or something for that.
Right.
Like I came up with $5,000, and I explained what that money would be used for, but, things like that.
Okay.
I have a question for Lisa.
Go ahead, sir.
Item number 42301, Springfest Summerfest. This says that we took in $1,064. We didn't, or not took in and spent. What did we spend that money on? Why is that?
It shouldn't be there.
That's what I thought. We didn't do anything last year in that category. So, and one other question on franchisees. What's People's?
It's our internet.
People's telephone.
Oh.
Telephone, sorry, telephone.
Yeah, it's people's telephone, but they do internet and all that.
Yeah. This one is first. People's.
So, okay,
All right, so,
let's, Mr. Mayor, I move to, actually, I guess we don't have.
We don't have
Do you want to try to keep the agenda pretty light this time with the section of the two presentations,
Yes.
just pretty much devote everything to budget?
Do you have anything else on it right now?
I don't think so.
What? We didn't have any other presenters?
Oh, let me take that back. Kelly, our sanitarian, and Mr. Hare from my computer guy. Do you want to see them this next time?
Let's, Kelly, we can do, she's not gonna take very long. Even if she brings us something new, it's not gonna take very long.
What do you think?
Mr. Hare, we can bump him to the next meeting or the meeting after.
Okay, very good.
So,
all right, so we're clear on everything. Any other things, guys?
Oh, when are we having a meeting for,
I don't know. Nobody's brought up
Last
anything.
year was August.
The gentleman that,
Abby?
yeah, about the pit.
He sent me an email, I think, this afternoon, so he's wanting to get something scheduled. I don't think he was in a huge rush, but we probably ought to go ahead and start. It doesn't have to be this next meeting, so I would suggest maybe the one after, or maybe even the 28th.
Excuse me, I would do it on the 28th.
Okay.
That will really only be something outside of ours, except for, again, raising the budget enough for the money that we, administrative fees that we should collect from them.
Well, and I think there was a question on that about, were we going to keep some of those maintenance fees on our side?
Well, we're not, I think we're raising the maintenance fees on that bid because we're not building a reserve fast
That's
enough
what
to
Ray thought too.
handle any type of road damage or repairs. So that's not going to be the pleasant meeting.
Okay, I'll do that for the 20th.
All right, so we're good on 14 now with everything? Okay. All right, moving on to number 15, updates, discussion, direction to staff. Does anybody have anything in any of those categories? I know one of them I do want to talk about, but does anybody have anything on A? I know we've given direction on it.
Have you got anything back from them?
I have the model policies, and at this point, I need to go through and probably just fill in what I can and then pass those on to you.
Okay.
So do you want to do that on maybe the 21st? Or do you want me to just send it
Just
out
send
to
it
you
out.
and then get your notes back?
Yeah.
Send them out.
Okay, so I'll fill in what I can and then I will pass it on to you for your comments. And then maybe we can collectively talk about them.
On that discussion about that, would that have to take place in an executive session? Should it?
Policy.
For the personnel policies, I don't think it would qualify for executive session, just a general talking
Just
about
a general,
policies.
okay.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're talking about a specific personnel issue, it
Right.
would, but I think just general policies, it wouldn't qualify.
And then Mr. Coker, he's supposed to be coming, the next meeting?
For,
I just wanted, he didn't come to this meeting, but so is he coming to the next meeting?
For,
I thought he was gonna be bringing information back regarding the, plotting.
I think our estimates are back in, so he probably could come to the next meeting.
didn't we, I thought we told Doug that
To choose and go
he was
forward.
supposed to subcontract it out and get it done.
That was my understanding as well. We've got, and he's actually chosen someone that he wants to use, who he's very familiar with. who was very reasonably priced, so
So he may have started then.
he's just waiting for the go-ahead, and you're confirming what it was I thought occurred when you told him the subcontractor attached to his bill and billed to us.
Yeah, it wasn't, he was talking about it probably being the person who did this, but I'm not sure that's who he actually ended up
It's
going.
actually not, the person who did this is actually double what
So,
Jay's gonna do it for us, so.
yeah, let's. we
I'll
need
tell him
to
to go
go
ahead.
ahead on that.
All right, the third one on there, the Veterans Memorial Brick Campaign, we didn't beat the bundled number yet. For those of you that are still here in our council chambers watching, or those that will see it online at some point, you know, we have a very, very beautiful monument out to one side of the city hall that honors the veterans of our county, or veterans as a whole. And there is a campaign to purchase bricks to lay all the way around the base of it. We would love to see more active participation in that, because it does honor the veterans that have supported this country. That's all I have on that one at the moment.
Go to-
The extension time, is there a deadline yet, or are we going to just leave it open right now?
We're just leave it open.
Okay.
I mean, we should try to, like, say, every 30 days.
Sure.
But, if you share the link,
Mhm.
it's under residents, public notices, Veterans Memorial Brick Campaign, and it goes straight to the form and just fill it out.
Okay.
I have a question on that.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Well, I'm not from around here,
I know.
so I don't have any family that, I have family that served, and we have done this very thing in our hometown, and I feel a little weird about saying, okay, well, I'm gonna put a brick for my father, uncle, whoever.
Right.
Here, when they never knew where McLendon-Chisholm was, and nobody knows.
Right.
So what I would like to do is ask staff to reach out to the various local organizations, DAR, American Legion, VFW, and see if they have a list of somebody who lived here, who may not have family here to honor them anymore. That way, I could buy them a brick, and it would be somebody who actually lived here and served representing the city, rather than putting something in that people would go, who the heck's that person? So,
I agree with you, but I think it should be up to individual members that want to.
Oh.
Or that buy a brick, but I agree
right,
with you.
no, I'm saying that's my feeling.
Right.
And,
No,
but I don't have really a way of getting those people knowing who is actually from McLendon-Chisholm.
Here's something else that I want to propose on this, because, you know, all my families served at some point. We get the American Legion or the VFW, you know, an organization such as the American Legion involved, and may be able to help us get this whole thing forward quite quickly, because they have, I'm a member of the Legion, but they have such a huge input and a huge database. We have over 7,000 veterans in our county. They could probably help us get people interested to want to honor family members or veterans as a whole, where we may be able to fill it up quite quickly if we engage them to help us. Do you guys have an issue with reaching out to them, see if they can help us with it? Then I will reach out to them for help on doing that. Council member photos, if you check your emails, Mr. Dave sent it out, I believe it was the 21st, is that correct?
Yes.
So make sure you have fresh haircuts, fresh shave.
Feel like that's
Tuesday, 21st.
And you cannot be sick because you don't want to retake a photo. We have to have a group photo.
That's what Photoshop is for.
I understand.
Might be in Virginia. See?
What?
My daughter's having her first baby, she's having complications, and my wife is not letting me not go.
You know that well in the head, that you're going to be on that day for that?
No, I said I might.
Oh.
My wife is not
I
going to let me.
expect you and your dress blues.
I understand. Yeah, right.
All right, next thing, city council member requests for future agenda items. I think we're all in agreement that we're trying to minimize these next few council meetings to get through the budget to where we can get it to a workable and agreed upon budget and get it done. All right, let's move on to, any questions?
I think it's imperative that we go ahead and address that need for a city town hall meeting with our
Okay.
department. From what I understand, the requirement is a 3-day notice.
Okay.
It'd be great to get more, but I'd like for us not to go another week and not address this.
Originally, I originally asked, you weren't here, so whenever I said it, I said it was gonna be in August, but I moved it to September, and the reason why is because there's a lot of people that I expect to want to be there, like some certain officials, so that we can be able to answer certain questions that may come up. So it's not just pushing it off because you just want to push it off. It's just we need time, and there's so many people that will be involved to be here and coordinate schedules and things of that nature. And plus, we also need to print out some graphics that need to go on board so people can be able to take away stuff.
What day is September, and who are we waiting on specifically?
Well, so far I've already started with the state bar marshal office, the person from Teaks, Texas A&M, in regard to grant stuff, and then the person from, the ISO, I'm still waiting to hear back about that. As far as the graphics and all that kind of stuff, that stuff needs to be created, so.
Do we have
What-
a date?
And Judge Sweet will be here for sure.
What dates or what day were we talking about in September?
It would probably be like mid-September. I was thinking like a Thursday, because I think we have all our meetings like on Monday and Tuesday.
It's just, I mean, my concern with that, I love the idea of everyone being there. That's 2 weeks before go time. And that's just when we get to answer a lot of those things. So, no, unless, I would love that if we could push aside the notion of standing up at Department by October 1st and just say, we're going to be with NCDFD. We have time now to have this discussion. But since it's still on the table,
Well, you can have a different type of, and this is just a suggestion, is that we could actually probably have, a meeting where there's options on public hearing where we can kind of interact with people just coming here and asking us direct questions on that. And that way we could actually help us better prepare for a later big meeting. I mean, it's just a time. I think they were really wanting to ask us questions as a council, like why we made decisions, why we did, and just having that, back and forth kind of question and answer kind of thing. I mean, it's just a suggestion, if you guys want to do that.
I think that's what he was alluding to, is that given the citizens the opportunity, I think getting all the other departments here for information is
The town
well
hall-
thought out, but I think the citizens need the opportunity to express their opinion.
The purpose of the town hall that I suggested back in the presentation I gave back in October, and then again in the spring, like what my intent was to, this is going to be talking about, the plan, okay? And we're going to, put Chief on the spot, I guess, and some other people that are involved in this to explain, like, this is what this information means, and just to kind of educate people on understanding where we're going. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think I like the idea, except that, I think that maybe it's not really a town hall that maybe you just kind of want a public hearing where they can ask questions, ask us, and then we just kind of have that interaction. And that we can do that. And that can be much sooner than a town hall meeting. I just want to be able to
Yeah,
have
I want to
it.
get on that one, but I don't know the specifics of what a town hall implies.
Well, today is the
But-
6th.
But the interaction, the ability for people, concerned citizens to ask.
I just whenever, when I had the idea of the town hall, I want them to walk away informed. I want them to have information in their hands and be able to physically look at stuff, you know?
And I certainly understand that, but the one thing I heard, and I don't know, it might have been a slip of tongue or whatever, that I didn't like is, I don't think the citizens want a town hall to discuss why we make decisions. I think they want to have input to the decisions. They want to have input to us before we make the decisions.
Then that would be.
And that's the one thing that I think means we have to be doing this as soon as possible, have some way where we can interact with the citizens.
Well, then that's a public hearing. That's the.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lisa,
because
what
town
are-
hall should be like
Yeah.
informed.
What are, I know next Monday
Yeah, I'm sorry.
is our meeting. Then what is it after that, the 21st?
The 21st and then the 28th.
Okay.
And I'm going to bend in just a little bit. I think you could call it a town hall meeting. Your town hall meeting might have a little, it'd just be a different town hall meeting. But I think you can also have a town hall meeting and just label it that you're not going to take any action that night. You're going
Just
to
to
accept
listen.
citizen input, and then you may respond with information. But you won't be making any decisions that night, so.
And for clarity, I asked you this question not too long ago, and the specifics on that was we can draw an agenda and we can note items on there that we know are going to be asked. And then you still have the flexibility if somebody brings up something that's not on that agenda to go ahead and step into it.
It's a good point. I think you could you could put as many topics on there or as few as you would like. So if you'd like to limit to just fire or public safety, you could do that. Or if you wanted to open it up to many things, I would just need a list of what you wanted to allow for discussion.
And Lisa did get a legal opinion on that, and that is valid.
Is there any reason that, say, 21st or 28th, when we have a meeting already scheduled, that we say, okay, our meeting is going to adjourn at 8 o'clock, and public town hall starts at 8:01,
You could do that.
and that we could give notice of quorum, and that no decisions to be made, so there wouldn't need to be an agenda. It would be open.
You still have to have an agenda. So you're still gonna, if you're gonna, city business is gonna be discussed, you've gotta have an agenda.
Okay.
Even for the town hall.
As simple as discuss and receive input regarding public safety or fire alone or public safety.
You just won't list an action on there because you won't be
Right.
taking any action. It would just be more of an
Receive
open
input.
forum. Would you want to have it on a Saturday? So maybe, let's stop.
We have done that before.
No.
Weekend is going to
Saturdays.
be hard,
I know.
especially with us meeting every week.
Yes, sir.
I think myself, the last meeting in August,
Be the 28th.
because by then, hopefully we'll be through with the budget for the most part, and we can have a short meeting, and then do adjourn the meeting and open up the city hall, or the city town hall, whatever, afterwards.
Okay, so do you want to set a time or you just want to leave it for now, just on that date and decide?
Well, if we set a time, it'll force us to have to speed up on some other things or adjourn the meeting, and items that weren't done then will have to be moved to the next week. I mean, it'll force us to have to get a little quicker that day to get to that town hall meeting, or we'll have to adjourn and those items that weren't covered will be pushed to the next week. I'm okay with setting the time.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
We're going all the way to the 28th.
Yes, sir.
Seems like a long time.
Well, we can't do it next week. We're trying to get some of the budget stuff done. We can't keep loading council meetings.
That's the same reason for the 21st, we gotta get the budget.
Do you want to limit it to public safety items?
How do you guys want to put the information in on it? Just limited it, or say public safety?
Makes sense.
You don't limit yourself down to the specific.
Public safety, including fire department.
Are you gonna leave it to just start taking questions, or do you wanna have a presentation before? It's kind of a general direction that you're headed, so that that will spark questions from them.
I like a presentation from, I'll say, both approaches to the fire department would make sense. You know, there's essentially two paths we're looking at. Give both opportunities to show the pros and cons or the strengths and weaknesses of each one.
In August?
Yeah.
For the town hall, for
We've
the
been
town
talking
hall,
about it
to
for
let the citizens have input.
forever.
Is what you're getting
How
at?
could that not be? I don't think that'd be that difficult to pull together.
So you want just a
I was just
The
looking at
factual
the presentation.
presentation?
Because people, however you feel about it, hopefully there should be information you'd be willing to share openly with the public and tell your side of why you don't feel like it's getting a fair shake. I think that'd be a welcome opportunity.
Well, I mean, that's why I want to be able to have the time to be able to get the materials together. I need to, have it all ready to go, and then,
It's 22 days.
She's not Lisa.
All right, well, whatever. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
I mean, I'm not saying you have to present anything, I'm just throwing it out, but if someone wanted to, suggest it was you. Just some thoughts.
Do you want staff to present something?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be good use.
I mean, the cry for public, or for town hall meeting and all is about the fire department and how we're doing this, either way. And if they don't have something that night to jog their minds, they're gonna have questions after it's over, and accusations that you glazed over something, or you glossed over something, or whatever. You put the two versions out there, and then let them have comments about it.
I agree. And if there are unknowns, then we'll establish those, these are still unknowns with this plan. And just acknowledge that.
And again, that's why we shouldn't have it in August, because when was the presentation supposed to be for NCFR? Again, the budgeting? No?
There isn't a presentation. We tabled the
It was September.
contractual extension to the 17th of September.
Would you
So-
want a presentation that would just essentially restate, I guess, the argument for either one?
Both, restate both ideas.
So in a factual way, not pushing for either one, but just say, these are the arguments that have been brought forward for
Right.
combined, this would be the one for a stand-up MCFR.
The one thing that I would like to caution about that, if we're starting at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night, people are going to have to go to work. So if we can't spend a lot of time doing the presentation,
Correct.
I would say that would have to be done in 30 minutes. Both sides would have to be done in 30 minutes, so that would give them an hour and a half to
Field question.
have the questions, and they can be done in 10.
When's school start? Will school-
20th,
20th.
week before.
It'll be a school night.
Yeah, we will.
No matter what we do after this week, it's gonna be a school night, because next week we're focusing on budget. Anything past next week is gonna be a school night.
I'm just pointing it
I
out.
know.
Are you going to leave it where there's no time limit, or do you want to?
No, I think we're going to have to, if we only have 90 minutes for them to make comments, I think you're going to have to set a time limit on the speakers. I'm not saying 3 minutes, but,
Right.
and we don't have to figure that out tonight. We can.
But yes, we will do something.
Okay.
But I agree, 3 minutes is not gonna be, All right. Are we good on the direction on that? Okay. We'll move on to item number 16, council member reports and announcements. Other than what I just said about the memorial, the Veterans Memorial Brick Campaign, I really don't have any announcements. For those of you that don't know, starting Monday, August 20th, school will be back in session, so start getting ready to remember the school zones and the influx of traffic of everybody. Other than that, I don't have anything to say. Mr. Larkin, you don't have anything?
I don't have anything else, no.
Mr. Turnbull, budget, finance, investments?
Investment, Lisa, did you
I had that
contact,
I had that
Chris?
conversation. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
did you contact Chris about the escrow?
Friday and I think earlier that week, I have not heard back from him.
Okay,
In the meeting. I'll try again in the morning, but we are running out of time. We need to get that settled.
yeah, is it Brawweiler that he works with?
Yeah.
So we may have to jump to a different person, but what this is about, we have, the 15th is when we have to do the defeasance that we approved last year on the defeasance,
Okay.
where we're putting $187,230 towards the city hall debt.
Okay.
I got a notice from Marty Shue, the first Southwest person that does this for us. And I also have information for doing it next year. The one thing that we looked at was stopping the ordinance or the resolution that we did last year and combining last year's and next year's together because of fees. And she did a comparison and it would save us about $100. So she recommended that we go ahead and do what we've got done since we've got all the legal ease and everything completed. And then we'll know what we're going to do next year, just in case we don't have any money to do any defeasance next year. So that's all I've got.
All right. Mr. Herring? I know you had your meeting and talked about it last week, but.
Yes, there's nothing,
The roads are still there.
yes, they are. It's in bad condition as they are.
Yeah, along those lines, I mean, Mr. Herring's done a great job presenting some information from the Roads Consortium. I know over the weekend there was a major accident right in front of Sonoma Verde, even though they have repaired and fixed that turn lane. The issue, from what information I got, was somebody traveling southbound wasn't paying attention and they veered right into that turn lane and nailed a resident's family member.
Yes.
That may be something when we get further onto the whole widening project that they might want to look at, but that's going to be a ways
There was
on.
other issues that were involved in that particular accident that day.
Well, I heard about that individual that veered over, I just wasn't going to
Yes.
go all the way with it.
Any applications?
On your economic development, it's year four.
So if anyone wants to reach out to someone that they think would be a good candidate for that,
Are the applications on the website?
yes.
Or, okay, so we can steer them in the right direction. I know I've got a copy of one. Okay. All right, so for those that are listening or are still here, we do have the Economic Development, I guess, Committee. All right, following communications, engagement, emergency services.
Well, actually, last week I was going to try to schedule an ESAC committee meeting, and then I talked to Mr. Butler about that, and it just seems, we needed to wait until staff was not so stressed.
Okay.
So, I was gonna get back and working on that this week. Scheduling, I'm working with staff on when we can do that, because I was gonna invite, Mr. Butler to come to the next meeting. And then that's all I have right now.
Okay.
That's it.
Nobody have anything else? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adjourn.
All right, so this meeting adjourned, it is 9:20.
You got to fly over 3:30. Right. Friday.